Next up on WTV, details on today's voter registration drive, a Wingspan special report on Frisco's farm-to-table trend, and this week's edition of Real Talk. WTV's daily update starts now. Good morning, Red Hawk Nation. Today is Friday, January 24th, and I'm Stephanie Chung with today's daily update brought to you by Wingspan TV. The Texas primary election is on March 3rd, which means time is running out for those that need to register to vote. But today, during all lunches, it will be as easy as it can be. WTV's Luke Martin has the details.
American Legion Post 178 is hosting a voter registration drive in the cafeteria. To register to vote in the March 3rd primary, a student needs to turn 18 on or before March 2nd. Those that will turn 18 after March 2nd but before March 31st can also register, but they will not be able to vote in the primary. However, they can vote in all other 2020 elections. Social Studies Department Chair Jeff Crow, who helped set up Friday's voter registration drive in the cafeteria, says he wants students to know their voices matter.
Society, we wouldn't have a democracy, we wouldn't have an engaged citizenry, to strengthen our institutions that we have, and it's very important that young people especially understand the importance of voting and the importance that their voice matters, that their vote counts.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Luke Martin.
Moving from the ballot box to the kitchen, students in food science are learning how to make their own meals from start to finish. WTV's Roy Nitson has the details.
The project is normally done for family, career, and community leaders of America, but food science teacher Jessica Fisher thinks it could benefit the students.
I think it's all of the life skills that they get in food science. Food science is technically a senior level science class, and so it is a lab-based science, but we also tie in the life skills that we teach in all of our family and consumer science classes that I teach and that Mrs. Swinney teaches. So they're learning budgeting, they're learning how to create a shopping list, how to create a cost analysis for their meals, how to create a menu plan. They're learning food presentation, and then they're learning the cooking skills as well. Some of these students didn't necessarily take Intro to Culinary Arts, and so they're getting those basic life skills in here even though it is a senior level science class.
The project consists of making a meal based on a prompt along with creating the packaging as if someone could go to the store to buy it.
Each year the scenario changes as to what we're looking for them to create. Each group creates their recipe. They do cooking phase 1. They feed their food to judges. They get criticism and feedback from the judges on what they could improve or change. So they take that feedback and they do a cooking phase 2 where they cook their recipe again, making those changes. They're covering all of the main objectives that we cover in food science throughout the year, so this is kind of a capstone project for them.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Roy Nitson.
When it comes to food, most students simply eat what they want, whether it's lunch in the cafeteria or grabbing a snack at the store. Food is nothing more than fuel in the eyes of many people. But there's an emerging trend in Frisco that's putting a new focus on food and where it comes from and how it's served. In this WTV special report, Sydney Andrews takes a look at the farm-to-table food movement.
Processed foods. It's a term most of us have heard, but few understand. Yet, by most accounts, anywhere from 60 to 80% of what we eat is processed, which means that the food in question has had a series of mechanical or chemical operations performed on the food to either change it in some way or preserve it. But in the heart of Frisco, there are a couple places that strive to eliminate the processing of food. The Heritage Table, as well as the Frisco Fresh Market, both located in downtown Frisco, offer food from local farmers directly to customers. This allows for a farm-to-table environment that gives people a way to eat healthy and avoid processed foods. At the Heritage Table, this means extra work in finding the best products.
We looked everywhere. Everywhere within about 150 miles, and we have a lot of farms, a lot of producers that are outside of that. Many of them still in Texas, some in some bordering states, and we do still get some commodity stuff from California because asparagus doesn't grow well in Texas in the middle of winter. But it was going to visit farms. That's fun for me. I like it. You don't start a restaurant if you don't love food, and seeing where that food comes from is cool to me. Most of these farmers are truly, truly passionate about what they do. You have to be, because it's not easy money. It's hard work. But seeing them, talking to them, you learn about the food. They love to see what you do with their food too, and really you connect with almost all of them if you care. if you care about the food, because they care about the food they're raising. So we picked them, based on personal connections, which is cool. We're picking our food and who raises our food based on personal connections. That's a cool thing to me. But also, we asked other chefs. I went to other restaurant owners and said, I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of them in Dallas, in the Dallas area, and went to them and said, who are some of the farms that are doing really cool stuff? Like who needs money? Who should I be giving my money to for a great product? And most of the chefs in Dallas that are truly conscientious about that sort of thing will tell you, because they want those farms to grow too.
But it doesn't take a trip to Heritage Table to cut out processed foods. The Frisco Fresh Market, less than a mile away from the Heritage Table, provides local residents the chance to buy straight from the farm.
The importance of buying from local vendors, for one, obviously, it supports businesses that are local to the area. That way they can bring more quality product that is fresh, that is grown locally. We are meant to eat seasonally. And the big box stores, they kind of systemically have destroyed that nature's law of us eating seasonally. So people used to having tomatoes in January and things like that. Human body is designed to receive certain nutrients at certain times of the year. So supporting local farmers, local growers, definitely kind of assists in that endeavor, and besides, it tastes good.
It's also better for you in most cases, as processed foods are more likely to include added sugars, artificial ingredients, refined carbohydrates, or dangerous chemicals used to ward off insects and other things that might harm the crop.
Honey Badger Crossing, we are strictly organic farm. We don't use any pesticides, any chemicals. Myself and my wife, we've been eating organically for quite some time now. We refuse to compromise and resell, the same products that big box stores sell. Eating organically, some people will say it costs more money. It really doesn't, because for one, the nutritional value that you have in organic food is significantly higher than other foods. And then when you add 10, 15, 20 years down the road, the possibility of medical bills that result from eating GMO foods and other stuff that you do get at your local grocery stores. Not only are you saving money, you're making your life better. Again, it does taste better.
Shopping for food straight from the farm can also be an interactive family experience, allowing children a buy-in to eat healthier foods. According to kidshealth.org, teens should fill half of their plate with fruits and vegetables, with dark green, red, and orange vegetables providing high levels of the nutrients needed, such as vitamin C, calcium, and fiber. All these natural resources are grown and sold around Texas, with places such as Frisco Fresh Market making it easy for local residents to find food straight from the farm.
Farmers market, it's an interesting concept that is a lot more common in Europe than it is here in the United States. I think it's an interesting thing. We see more families coming out with kids, kind of showing them this is what this product is, this is what this vegetable is. Kids, not just kids, adults as well, get to see how different organic, naturally grown produce, not only how different it tastes, but what it looks like. It's not perfect, duplicated product. People are in the open air. People get to interact with vendors, with people that actually grow food, with people that provide food to their table, versus buying from a store where, kids work for the minimal wage, just checking people out at the counter. People ask questions. People ask, why is this flavor different from the products that they bought from the store? They start to understanding what difference the soil makes, what difference good water makes.
The taste and health benefits of farm-to-table food extends well beyond vegetables, according to Vanna.
The pork from Chubby Dog Farms, where we get our pigs, we get whole pigs and we butcher them here. The meat is red. It's not like pork that has been commodity raised, sitting in a little pen that's this big and they can't move at all. The muscles have been used. It's got the hemoglobin in it that looks a little more like beef than it does like white meat. And it eats like a steak. It's beautiful meat. The difference is night and day. I mean, almost two different animals.
For people that don't want to cook farm-to-table style, restaurants such as the Heritage Table do all the work in what they say is a responsible, sustainable way.
Well, our tagline is real food, good times, old traditions. Again, it's something that's easy to say, flows easily, but it also means being close to our food. It's not just baking our bread or making our own pickles or things like that, but it goes back to the farms. It goes back to taking every step you can from day one of whatever that food is, making sure it's the very best. We find that in our kitchen, once the food gets here, we find the best practice is do it from scratch. Control every step that you possibly can. And from previous to that point, we want the people, the farmers, that are doing it the best way they possibly can until it shows up at our door.
The farm-to-table trend extends well beyond Frisco, with at least one major grocery store chain trying to concept as Kroger launched a pilot program at 2 stores in Washington. But here in Frisco, there are a fresh variety of ways to shop and eat straight from the farm without leaving the city. Reporting for WTV, I'm Sydney Andros.
More on food on this week's edition of Real Talk. WTV's Sydney Andros asked students about their preferences on food.
This is WTV's Sydney Andros with this week's edition of Real Talk, and today we're going to hit the halls and ask students about types of food. What is your favorite food?
Crawfish.
My favorite food is probably like hamburgers, hot dogs.
Chicken fries, steak, fried chicken.
Are there any foods that you don't eat or don't like?
I don't eat vegetables.
I don't eat vegetables. Regular bread, cake.
What is your favorite dessert?
I like all the desserts, like chocolate cake, birthday cake, ice cream cake, cookie cake, cake.
And what is your favorite fruit?
My favorite fruit is strawberries, watermelon.
Strawberries. With this week's edition of Real Talk, this has been WTV's Sydney Andros.
Changing directions is a busy time for Red Hawk athletics. WTV's Walker Shippey has today's Sports Minute.
Girls and boys soccer play tonight versus Lebanon Trail. The girls are coming off a 4-0 win to Heritage on Tuesday. The boys are coming off a 2-0 loss to Heritage. The girls' game starts at 7 o'clock at Lebanon Trail. The boys' game starts at 7:15 at home. Girls and boys basketball match up against Reedy tonight. The boys are coming off a 52-47 win to Frisco on Tuesday. The girls also beat Frisco on Tuesday 43-25. The girls start at 6 o'clock and the boys at 7:15. Both at the Nest tonight. For WTV Sports, this is Walker Shippey.
If you're looking for more for Wingspan, you can follow us at Liberty Wingspan on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our award-winning website, libertywingspan.com. And now for today's announcements. Voter registration will be held during all lunches on Friday, January 24th to register for the March 3rd primary. Students need to turn 18 on or before March 2nd. Those that will be 18 after March 2nd but before March 31st can also register but will not be able to vote in the primary, but will be registered for all other elections in 2020. Students registering must have a picture ID that also indicates their birth date. A driver license is preferred. The Pole Student Ambassador course application is now open. Upcoming juniors and seniors are invited to apply for this prestigious program. Applications are due by February 13th at 4:30 p.m. Please see the counseling office with any questions. The link to the application is bit.ly/polls2020. Wingspan is looking for current freshmen, sophomores, or juniors that want to be part of a nationally award-winning website. Students on the Wingspan staff choose what they want to work on with options including staff reporter, opinion writers, podcasters, photographers, and graphic artists. If interested, please visit room C102 for more information. That's it for today's Daily Update. This is Stephanie Chung for Wingspan TV.